Good morning. I see a couple people coming into the room. Maybe I'll just stay on theme. I see a couple people coming into the coffee shop. I see a couple of familiar faces. There's a lot of how are things this morning in Texas?
Good, good. They're finally cooling down a little bit. It's going to be a crisp 95 today. So,
Oh, wow. You could better put a sweater on.
yeah, yeah.
You better put a sweater on. Marty, good to see you. We will
Good morning, everyone.
As everyone's just kind of coming in, I know some of you all are familiar with what this is or why we do this, but I don't know that everybody does. So I just want to kind of step back for a second and kind of explain where this concept or this idea came from. We rewind back about 5 years. I was the team leader of the Keller Williams Roseville office here in our area. And I don't know if you remember this, but in March of 2020, the world started to look a little bit different. And we shut down all the offices temporarily, and everybody went back to their own homes and their own private spots. And the idea kind of came up that, look, community really matters. And even though we were separated by some distance and all of that, we wanted to make sure that we stayed together and kept supporting each other through hard times, through uncertainty and all of that. And so we came up with this idea of Coffee with Scott, and we just did it on Zoom for that time. Just as a way for agents to come in, to hang out with each other for a little while, to share some wins, to share some hurdles, and just kind of work together and support each other through that. And then the world opened back up, and Coffee with Scott went away. But through the encouragement of one of my friends here, she said, "Why'd you stop doing that? And more importantly, why don't you just bring that back?" And so I believe that we all get smarter when we share information. One of the great things about the culture that the people that I get to call friends and coworkers is we kind of work with open hands and open books, meaning the things that I do aren't a secret. The things that I share, they work for us. And all of us have something to bring to the party. All of us have something to bring for the benefit of this real estate community. And so the coffee shop is open for that reason. Each week, I'm going to bring a little bit of prepared content. We're going to share some wins. We're going to share some gratitude. And then my hope is that everybody walks out of this conversation every week just feeling a little bit empowered to go make an impact in one of your friends' lives, one of your clients' lives, one of your family members' lives. I always appreciate people coming to classes and listening to things that I have to say, but I think it's a missed opportunity if you don't go take something that was shared today and make an impact out there in the world. So that's what kind of brought us in. That's what kind of got us to this point. I love seeing people come off of the black screen and put faces up there, even if you do look homeless. Hi, Alexis. Just kidding. You don't look homeless, but that was your text this morning. So I'm just going to throw up this slide deck, and we're just going to kind of hop in as we go. I know if you guys know me at all, you know that I am corny by nature. Not naughty by nature, but corny by nature. And so I try to stay on coffee theme. And so here's kind of our outline that we're going to run through for today. Number one, I'm just going to ask for you guys to share some quick wins and some gratitude. Number two, we're going to hop into the topic, which is how to uncover some motivated buyers that are in your pipeline or circulating around you. We're going to talk briefly about mindset, and then we're all going to commit to going out there and taking some action today. So with that said, I would love for somebody to come off mute and just give me something that is a win that has happened either for them personally or professionally in the last couple of days. And the reason why I like to start this way is I think all too often we beat ourselves up and we don't give ourselves credit for the progress that we make every day. And so if you're just getting into our Wednesday midweek here, who can step up and come off mute and just give me a quick win that they've experienced over the last couple of days? Go for it, Marty.
I will. So I am coaching new agents, and last week this client had been working on a deal that just didn't feel right. And the big win is that my gut was telling me this isn't right, this isn't right. Do some more research, go back, do your due diligence, go through and check it out. And it was all solidified yesterday during a networking meeting where these fraudsters are getting clever, more clever and more clever and more clever. So just making sure that we're doing all the work we're doing. And then what was a win for me was guiding him through that process. I knew something wasn't right and he was being resistant because of course they just want the deal, which I totally get, right? But we want to protect that and lower our risk at what we're doing as professionals and individuals. So that was a win. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. The other thing I heard there is trust your gut. When something doesn't smell right, it's probably not right.
Right. 100%.
Love that. Love that. Somebody else have a win for us.
I'll share one, Scott. So I'll share a professional win. We sat down last month and we kind of talked about social media and branding and different things like that. And about 5 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago after family reunion, I kind of took a leap and started investing into personal branding and started a YouTube channel. And we've gotten some leads, nothing like crazy. It's not like an overwhelming amount of leads that came through. However, a couple of days ago, from one of my YouTube leads, I was able to sign a buyer that's shopping at right around $1 million price point. So got them signed on, and just kind of goes to show, like, if you just trust the process, you keep on keeping on and don't get discouraged by the short term and let it kind of burn long term, and you stay consistent, then, good things will happen.
I love that. I mean, you had shared that when we were actually truly having coffee. You were
having real coffee.
You were having a Gibraltar. Anyone know the Gibraltar besides Brian? I know now. But yeah, the consistency is sticking with that. So you got Brian's a great follow on Instagram, on TikTok. If you're looking just kind of for a role model on what type of content that's relevant, check out his page. He does a really good job on what he's putting out there, and he's starting to see the fruit from it. It sounds like. That's awesome.
Thanks, Scott.
That's awesome. All right, someone give me some gratitude. Give me something, someone or something you're thankful for. And I'm going to go ahead and kick us off on this one. There's people in our lives that support us, that kind of get to work behind the scenes, that make us look good. And Laura, I'm just grateful for all you do that support me every day, support our team every day, how you show up, how you always look out for us before you look out for yourself, frankly. So I'm just grateful for all that you do every single day for all these years that make me and all the rest of us look great.
Well, thank you. That was sweet. I was going to thank you for the opportunity to learn a new technology of being able to put, live broadcast our meetings on Facebook, which I've never been. So thank you for that opportunity. I now have another skill set. So
there you go. If you ever have to have a resume, you have one more thing on your resume.
Right.
Not that you'll ever need it, but all right, anybody else have a gratitude they want to share? Don't make me call on one of you.
I'll share one, Scott.
Go for it, Steve.
Yeah, just the fact that you, I'm getting my health back into shape, getting back healthy again, and back in the front lines of real estate. Wrote a couple contracts.
Oh boy.
Got a couple buyers who are going to be looking to buy some stuff next week, and I got a couple listings I'm working on. So it's all good. You just got to keep positive and move forward and be kind and be humble.
I love it. Well, I see you around the office doing it. So
yep,
keep after it. I know you've been struggling with some health things off and on for quite a while. So
yeah, we're there though. We're getting there.
You're getting there. Anybody else want to share one?
I'll go. I just want to say, well, first of all, I'm thankful for you and the team and Laura. I got pretty good mentors all around me to help me learn the industry, which is pretty awesome. And also just to have a supportive family around me as well. So.
Love it. What a good kid.
I'll go again. So I'm grateful that Scott actually put this together because I think the industry in a whole is missing this at a higher level where professionals can come together, mastermind, get out there what's working, what's not working. I feel like what I'm seeing is a lot of realtors or industries are not being able to share, and it's very competitive. And the fact that you can come out and just want to put together partnerships and support each other in this industry is huge.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. By the way, this wasn't meant. Thank you for all filling my bucket. I appreciate all that. That wasn't what I was aiming for here. But I appreciate. But I think I'll appreciate all your kind words. All right, well, let's get to work. Let's get brewing here. So, I was looking at our pipeline for our team just this week, and what was interesting in looking at the homes that we presently have pending, so the clients that we're presently representing that are under contract. And as we were kind of finishing up August, we don't have one buyer pending right now. We've got we have active listings, we've got pending listings, but at present, we don't have any pending buyers right now. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. That doesn't happen very often. And so I started thinking about, okay, we've got a lot of people that are in our orbit. We got a lot of people on our website that are looking at houses. We've got some buyer representation agreements signed. We're showing some houses. But what's hesitating? What's causing people not to act? What's causing people right now, buyers out there in the market, maybe just to take a pause and sit back? And I kind of just put it into these couple of buckets here. That financial strain, that there's an affordability issue. Maybe they're concerned about interest rates. Maybe they have some uncertainty about their job, if they're going to get downsized or laid off. Or maybe it's a larger thing where they have some fear about the national economy. Maybe they're thinking, hey, prices are going to drop and I don't want to overpay for a house. I don't want to buy something today that's going to be worth less tomorrow. And maybe they've been looking, but they just aren't finding it. You know, inventories continue to creep up, and yet maybe what the thing is that they're looking for just isn't available in the marketplace. So either in chat, guys, or feel free to come off mute if you choose. From your perspective, what is causing buyers right now to hesitate? It could be something that's already on this list, but maybe someone you're working with or something that you're hearing out there. Why do you think that buyers are taking a little bit of a break right now? Or
Interest rates.
Rates?
Right. They're waiting to see the Fed drop the prime, and then they'll start feeling better about making a purchase because they'll feel rates are going down. They can buy and then refinance in a year when the rates are even lower.
Yeah.
They want to see it start going down though first.
Yeah. Yeah. Marty, I see you in the chat. Confidence, decision paralysis. Okay.
Thanks, Scott. This is Deanna. I think it's all things you've stated, but I do think there's a lot of people that really feel values are going to significantly come down, and maybe they're afraid they are going to overpay, like you said. I mean, that was one of the items, but I think from just talking to people, it sounds like that. So,
yeah, I think you're right. And Marty, I like what you said here too. Decision paralysis. You might just want to write this down if you're taking notes this morning. It's my belief, whether it's a buyer or seller, but just in decision making in general, people don't move when there's friction. People tend to stay still. They tend to stay frozen when there's friction, when things are hard to do. And I believe it's our job as real estate agents, whether we represent a buyer or seller, and in this case, we're really still talking about the buyer end of things, is that we got to make it easy. We got to remove friction for them. We got to give them permission to take a step forward. And that's why as we look at kind of some of these questions that are on the balance of this page, I think in order to smooth out that friction, what we have to become better at as an industry and as individuals is we've got to become better at listening than talking. We got to get better, specifically in this case, of asking questions that would cause them to think and cause them to reconsider whatever their fear or their hesitation is. And so here we go. Is someone, inevitably, there's somebody in your life right now that's saying, it's just, there's too much risk going on. There's too much uncertainty going on. And all too often, I think for myself, is I jump in to try to solve that problem. But the reminder that I got this week was to slow down and actually ask a clarifying question. And it just looks like this. What specifically about today's market feels risky to you? What specifically about today's market has you taking a pause? What specifically about today's market has you wanting to wait? And let them verbalize what it is. Let them really drill down on what's causing them to take a pause, so that then we can start to formulate how we can overcome that objection, if in fact it's in their best interest to take a step forward. If someone is, on the verge of getting downsized or laid off, today's probably not the right day to go make an offer on a house. There are some rational fears that exist out there, but for those irrational fears, ask them, what is it? Be specific about what's going on in today's market that feels risky to you. And then the other side of that, flipping that around a little bit, is that next question that's on here is, what would actually give you confidence to act despite that uncertainty? What would give you confidence to act even though you have these concerns? And what we're doing here is we're letting them verbalize what's going on in their head. And I think a lot of times when people start to talk it out loud, they realize that the objection that's been running around inside their head doesn't really live in reality. They've just been telling themselves a story. Did I get a laugh out of that? Selena, thank you. Hi, Selena. I didn't know you were there. Hi. All right. So let me ask you guys, let's kind of open this up for a second. But these first two questions that I've shared, do you have a buyer today that you could ask those types of questions to? Is there somebody that's in your pipeline? Someone that's been, maybe you met at an open house. Maybe someone that you were showing houses to in the past that is now sitting on the sideline. Either one of these questions resonate with you? And maybe a different way of saying it just slightly is, how could you take one of these questions that are here and rephrase it into your own tonality, into your own words, that would spur a conversation with somebody? Because I would love to see you guys start to unlock some more buyers and get them out there moving. Anybody want to share any thought on that before I step forward? Okay, cool. That means I'm doing a great job. Or if the coffee just hasn't set in yet. Okay,
So
go ahead, Brian.
Sorry, Scott. One of the things that I think has been a game changer with just even like my personal life and my business life, like what you said is like being a better listener than to just kind of go straight into consulting. Phil Jones says that value is only valuable where it is appreciated and appreciating. And a lot of times we try to bring value with we go through this list of like things that we think is valuable to the specific person. But if we don't sit and listen to exactly what they're needing and what's valuable to them, we're not able to unlock, or they feel like we don't understand them. So asking, like what you said, those questions that really shows what the fears are, what specifically about this market are you that's putting you on pause. I think those are really great questions. And then not going into straight consulting mode, which we often do as realtors, and to kind of show off our knowledge, but to really sit and listen 80% of the time and talk 20% of the time, so that you can know exactly what's important to that specific person, so that you're able to show up for them in a way that they need you to show up.
I think that's super wise. You should write all that down in the comments now so they can transpose everything that you just said.
I have AI taking notes for us, so I'll send it over to the group.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna put something on the clipboard here in a second to share with everybody. But yeah, no, I think you nailed it. And it's so funny that you mentioned Phil because um, a lot of the questions that are on this second page are kind of my take on what he might say. Yeah, I think most of you guys are familiar with the book. Oh, you can't see it because I have a virtual background, but behind me, that Exactly What to Say book that Phil Jones wrote. If you don't have that book, and probably everybody here has seen it, everybody here has read it. If by chance you've been under a rock and you haven't seen it, it's been a game changer just in these conversation frameworks. Okay. So thank you for that. Here's just a couple more questions for you guys to consider to uncover some motivation. For the people that are kind of out there, that are in your world, they're just, I don't know, kind of stuck again, that friction is getting clarified, asking that clarifying question. What's prompting your move right now? Or what had you even considering moving? The next question, though, is the one that I think really starts to unlock motivation, which is if you don't move in the next 6 months, what happens? And here's why that one's important is when you ask that question to somebody, they're probably going to fall into one of two camps. Either they're going to say, I have no choice, I have to move, or I'm comfortable where I am. So let's take the comfortable where I am for a second. If someone comes in and they just says, you know what, I really like my house, I enjoy where I am, but if I could find the thing that has one more bedroom, I'd go for it. If I could find the house that was a shorter commute to work, I would go for it. If you found me the unicorn, I would take action. Well, if someone gives you an answer like that, it's not that they don't deserve great customer service. It's not that they don't deserve to have you as their agent, but they might rank as a lower priority on who you're going to be following up with and spending the most of your time with. Conversely, if somebody says, man, we got to get that extra bedroom because the baby's on the way. We got to move closer to work because that commute is killing me. I got no choice. And you're starting to uncover what drives them. You can take them back to that motivation into the future, right? Hey, Brian, you told me that your wife's due in December. It's September 1 right now. Do you want to be unpacking boxes the same day that she's going into labor? Great, then let's go find that house for you right now. Steve, you told me that you can't put any more miles on that truck of yours. And eventually that truck's going to break down. When that truck breaks down, you're going to need some money. Would you rather have that money invested into your new home rather than into a new engine? That was a terrible example, but I think you guys get the point. All right. And the next one is, if we found the right home today, what would stop you from moving forward? And really what we're doing here is giving them permission to buy a house. I think so many times when we don't ask the right questions up front and we don't really identify motivation and what a client's must-haves are, those are the clients that we drive, or they drive us all over town, and they also drive us nuts. Those are the types of buyers that we end up showing 20, 30, 40 houses to before they make a decision. But when we ask the question, if we found that house today, what would stop you from moving forward? And their answer is nothing. Great, then tell me what that house has to have. Brian, describe to me what the amenities of that home would have so that we can get you moved in before your wife gives birth. And in a market where maybe there's still a little bit less inventory, people's they're on a beer budget, but they have champagne taste, but they're on a beer budget. This other one, how open-minded are you about seeing a solution that you may not have considered yet? Which is to say, could we move our search out 1 more mile or 2 more miles? Could we, instead of being in this city or this zip code, could we go 1 over? How important is that fourth bedroom? Could you work with a 3-bedroom? Because a lot of people right now, they just like, I said this the other day to our group, is the best way to buy your dream home is to buy your next home. And right now, your dream home is just not inside your budget. But the fastest way that you can get there is by building equity in your next home. So let's get you into that one so that in the future, you can have all those things that are on your wish list. Okay. So let me pause for a second. Take a second and kind of look at the screen and reflect on that. Is there a question on this screen that you could ask somebody today that would give you a little bit more clarity about where they are? Maybe if they're a right now buyer versus a future buyer. Is there somebody out there that's in your world right now that is just a perpetual shopper that really needs to make a move because they have a life event on the horizon? Is there somebody out there in your pipeline right now that has been so pigeonholed into one search criteria that you need to ask the question, would you be open to another solution that you haven't considered yet? So hang on to that idea for a second. Which then goes on to our time to grind, staying on to our coffee theme. Is walk out of here today with an action item. I'm just suggesting 3. Pick something to go forward on, but here's some prompts for you to consider. Is it based upon something that one of y'all shared this morning, or one of those questions that was on the screen? What are some motivating questions? What are some questions that you could write down? What are some questions inevitably that you could ask somebody that would gauge their level of motivation or would cause them to be motivated? So which of those questions from those prior screens or that somebody else shared would help you uncover the motivation of one of your clients? Or number 2, would relieve some of that friction that would cause them to go take a next step with you? And then the next step with that is, in order for these words to come natural to you, in order for these things just to be embedded into your daily dialogues, as you're out there in the world, as you're talking to people, as you're at an open house, as you run into your friend at the grocery store, in order for these types of ideas to be on your lips, they've got to be embedded into your mind. So maybe that action item here is to practice one of these things, one of these questions, one of these prompts with somebody that's on your team, with somebody that's in your market center, with your spouse, with your kid. So that all of a sudden these questions start to sound natural rather than scripts coming out of your mouth. And I know it may sound a little bit silly, but if you don't have a person or you're too embarrassed to do it with a person, open up ChatGPT and talk to ChatGPT. Open up Grok and do some script and role playing with your favorite AI tool. It's an amazing resource, guys, that sounds a little goofy talking to a computer screen, talking to a computer, talking to the machine, and yet it's a great role play partner if you don't have somebody else in your life to do it with. And then lastly, commit to finding some motivated buyer in the next 7 days. And I would say to do one of 3 things with. 1, who's the person in your pipeline right now that you need to sign a buyer representation agreement with? Or number 2, someone you have a buyer representation agreement signed with, but for some reason they've taken a pause and it's time for them to get back in your car and you show them houses. Or number 3, that person that you have a signed buyer representation agreement with that's out there shopping, but for whatever reason, there's some friction that's causing them not to make an offer. So identify someone that falls into one of those 3 categories. Crap, you might have all 3 of those things. You might have 3 different people that do that with. But sign an agreement, get them out shopping again, or encourage them to take a next step in making an offer. Okay? That's my ask for today. That's my ask for today. But we'll continue to do this every week. I just threw this up on the screen just as a reminder. Is we'll be on here every Wednesday morning from 8 to 8:30. We are recording this, and ultimately it will live on a social page. But this link will remain constant. Coffeewithscott.net will always be here for you guys to come in on. Please today, if you could, go in and join our Facebook page. We will post the recorded content there. What we didn't know is that Facebook makes you wait 60 days before you can broadcast live to it. So we can't put this directly on that channel right now, but 60 days down the road, we will. So it'd be awesome if you guys would go like that page, and then we'll continue to put content in that direction. And then my shameless plug, and I just put it in the chat, was I got nominated, or our team got nominated for Team of the Year for Real Producers here locally. I just put the link in the chat. Brian, I know you've already voted for me, and you're allowed to vote every single day. You don't have to stop once. You can vote every single day for me. But if you guys would just go in and click that link and just quickly vote for our team, so that that team gets the credit, the recognition for the hard work they've been doing. Because when there's a competition, I really like to win it. So anybody have any final thoughts, closing thoughts before we bounce out for the day? Trying to honor our time and get out of here basically on time. If you're saying nothing, it's either because I put you to sleep or because I
No,
did
Scott, stay positive. We're in some very troubling times right now, politically, economically, and professionally. And just stay positive. Doesn't do good to be talking negative. Just stay positive, and even though there are negatives, try to deal with them. Every negative is an opportunity to make it into a positive. Suppose that.
Steve, control your controllables. You can't control what's going out there on the news cycle, on the politics, and all that, but you can control your mindset. You can control your approach to it. Love that. Stay positive. All right, so I'll give you guys one last challenge as you go out. In that same line, I asked at the very beginning this morning to show gratitude, and I'm grateful for the gratitude you showed me. Here's one more action item for you today. Before the sun goes down tonight, call somebody else and tell them thank you for something that they did for you. Anybody. Your mom, your sister, a past client. Have the courage just to pick up the phone and just say, man, I just want to let you know you made an impact on my life. Man, I just want to let you know that when you did the such and such, that really meant something to me. Could have been a day ago that it happened. It could have been a year ago. But Steve, to your point, positive attitude, go show gratitude to somebody out there in the world, because everybody needs a real hug or a virtual hug. That's a great way to finish us off. Nothing more to say. Love you guys. Thank you for coming in. Share this idea with a friend. If you got value from today, come back next week and bring a buddy with you. If you want to put a child on your lap, that works out just fine too. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, Scott.